Hey party people, what's up? Today we're going to talk about all the things you need to know about getting started planning your destination wedding. Where do you even begin? I've got all of the tips that you need to know to get started on your destination wedding plans right here. Let's jump right in. If you're new here, I'm Valerie Gernhauser. I've been wedding planning for almost 10 years now, and I have two wedding planning companies, Sapphire Events and Ruby and Pearl Events. And the reason why I'm here is to share all of the good wedding planning advice you're gonna need to get yourself across the finish line and set you up for success in planning your event. Over my last 10 years in business, 95% of my clients have been destination clients. What does that mean? Destination events means that you are planning an event that is away from where you currently live or where you have a home base. It might be someplace that you're familiar with. You might have lived there at one time, or maybe you and your partner met and now you live elsewhere. It might be a place that you vacation or you travel to. It is always a place that you are not living. So the challenge to destination weddings and the planning that goes along with it, it's dealing with a lot of different challenges that you might have because it's destination than you would ordinarily have if you're planning an event in the city or location where you live and work on a daily basis. Destination weddings are the thing for this decade. We're in the 20s now. It is so accessible to get to and from a location, to research places to stay, get the best rates on flights. Traveling anywhere in the world is more accessible than ever before. Destination weddings are here to stay, and we're going to see so many opportunities in this next decade where brides and grooms alike are asking their guests and their family members to travel to a place that has such special meaning to them. That brings me to my first tip for planning your destination wedding. First, you definitely want to think about location, location, location. Pick a destination that is going to have special meaning for you as a couple. That means that it's a place that you've lived before, or someplace that you've traveled to on a regular basis, or that really has special meaning for the two of you as a couple. That's a time that you're going to be able to resurrect those happy feelings and emotions that you once had when you were living there or traveling there, and then buttress that with the emotions and all of the good feelings that happen because of your celebration with your wedding. The benefit to a destination wedding is the honeymoon starts the second you walk off the plane and you land for your celebration. What better way to kick it off than celebrating with all of your friends and family from near and far that are so excited to be in this magical space, celebrating with you and for you. Your destination might be a place that you've never been, but you've always dreamed of going to. What better opportunity than your wedding celebration to bring people from all walks of your life and your partner's life together in one place to experience the magic of a dream that you have had for such a long time and make your first memories there in this special place. Think about what locations around the country or around the world even have special meaning for you. Start there with your celebration. There's no better way to personalize an experience for your guests than to bring them to a place that really means something special to you. Okay, number two, you want to be sure that you are working with a planner. This is a non-negotiable. When you're planning an event, you can't not hire a planner to help you through this. What kind of planner do you want? I want you to look back at our video about the questions that you need to be sure that you're asking your potential wedding planner in an interview. And that's a good place to start. But the other things that you want to make sure that you're asking are relating to the planner's experience with destination events and dealing with clients that are traveling from afar to their destination wedding location. You're looking for somebody that has experience in the complexities of communication, first of all, across time zones, across international lines. That's going to be a complication unto itself. You might not even live in the same city as your event planner that you end up hiring, and that's okay too. Whoever is on your side needs to be somebody that can deal with communicating with you on a routine basis wherever you are in the world, and be able to plan and travel to the location where you have in mind so that they can be feet on the ground and work around the logistics that you're going to need that are essential to make your wedding day happen the way that it needs to happen. Another essential element that you're going to want to look for in a planner is somebody that is really well connected. You don't need to hire a planner that necessarily lives in the place where your destination wedding is going to take place if they also have a great network of both national and international vendors that they can call on who are both skilled and seasoned in travel events and has a good network of people on the ground in the location where your wedding is to source locally as much as possible to keep travel costs down and to really maximize the labor that you're going to need to execute the event overall. Now, it might be that you're looking at a location that is quite remote. These are some of the most special events of all because it's really hard to imagine just getting there with two people traveling on vacation, but imagine a group of people celebrating in one place. You're going to want to have somebody on hand that can turn to the local community with people that they know and trust to give them great advice and navigate cultural norms and logistical needs, as well as government and communication permitting and those sorts of official documents that are going to make this process as seamless as possible. Hiring a good planner first and foremost that knows and understands how this all works and has a really good network of people that they can turn to make sure your wedding is a success, that's the kind of person that you're going to be looking for hiring for your destination event. And they don't necessarily need to live in the city where your event is taking place. In fact, many don't. Number 3, draft a very finely tuned guest list. I've talked about this already time and again. It comes up when you're planning any event from the very beginning. You need to work on that guest list. It's the essential element that's going to guide the rest of your process. How much square footage your venue is going to need to hold all of your guests, what the service style is, and of course the budget. You know how I feel about this. The guest list is going to be something that is really, really critical, especially for a destination event. I will tell you this, it is important to know just because it's destination does not mean that this is an opportunity to have lots of courtesy invitations sent to people you think expect an invitation or deserve an invitation, but might not actually travel. You will be surprised how many people will actually say yes, especially to a destination invitation for a wedding celebrating somebody that they know. A lot of people will use their vacation time to make an extended trip of a destination event. And what better reason to go to a location that they might not have thought about for themselves than to be invited to your event wherever it is in the country or the world and travel to that place. Either they've been there before and they love going there, so they're going to go again, or they've never been there and they want to use this as an opportunity to go and then explore either before your event or after and really make a well-rounded travel vacation out of this experience. Don't be surprised if more people say yes than you expect to your destination event. It happens all the time. The literature that's out on the internet these days says expect about 80% of your guests to say yes and 20% to say no. I've told you this before. That is so wrong. This is old information that maybe was in effect 10, 15 years ago with weddings. That is so different these days. Like I said, it's really easy to get from point A to point B. Travel is at our fingertips, and in the 20s, we're going to see so much more accessibility around the world, and the travel interest among your guests is going to be really high. So definitely try and hone in on that guest list to be as intentional as possible and fine tune who is getting an invitation. Limit the courtesy invites so that way you can make sure that you're maximizing the options you have with your venue because you have a really good handle on the actual number of guests that are going to attend. The more intimate, the better. It's going to give you flexibility with your budget and other fun things and elements that you're going to be able to invest into the guest experience. That's really going to round out overall how much you're going to enjoy the experience itself. Number 4, pick a time of year that is best at the location that you choose for your destination. At the start, you want to avoid trying to pick a date specifically before you've landed on a destination city or a location and selected a venue. You want to look at a time of year rather than a specific weekend because you're going to have to come up against a lot of things that are going on in the city where you're looking to get married. That might be convention, celebrations, it might be festivals, it might be a very busy resort town. You want to avoid high season. The high season is going to mean higher rates for your guests who are staying on the property or around town, and it's also going to mean an increase in flight costs for your guests during that time period. If that is when a lot of tourists tend to travel to that location, that's something that you probably want to try to avoid because the overall travel costs are going to be higher for your guests. However, if your calendar availability has to happen with a wedding in a destination that falls in that destination's high season, here's a tip. Try and book as close to the start of the high season or the very end of the high season as much as you can. The reason that you want to try and do that is because you'll avoid much of the crush into that location and the tourist town and reservations at restaurants and the availability of flights and good prices and rooms. All of these things are going to really get at their height during the thick of the busiest season, especially if you're traveling to resort towns. So if you have to travel because of your personal calendar and those of your very important people, your VIPs that are needing to be at this event with you, if it falls during that destination's typical high season, try and get a date as much as possible on the front end or the back end of that typical busy season. You're going to have a lot more options that way, but avoid it altogether if you can, and that way you're going to have your run of the place. Another part of the calendar year you want to avoid in destination locations are going to be periods of time that are historically weather active, whether that is wet season or a very dry or hot season. If it's hurricane or monsoon season, you definitely want to avoid. If it tends to be really cold or really stormy, those are times of year that you also want to really try to avoid planning your event because, as we know, Mother Nature likes to show up uninvited. We definitely don't want to put you under any undue stress because you're also planning a time of the year where weather is just a huge factor. You might also run into places that are completely closed because of the weather factor, limitation on resources because, frankly, labor and everyone else doesn't want to be out and working and putting their lives at risk or their property at risk for a potential storm. Look at the calendar year for the destination that you're most interested in. Try to find a balance between non-historically active weather patterns and then also a time of year that is not in the thick of high season. Try to book on the front end or the back end of that high season whenever possible. That's going to maximize your options. It's going to be a lot easier for you to make decisions and rest at ease. Tip number 5, the honeymoon really begins when you land for your destination wedding. You come into this amazing place that has so much meaning for you. You're so excited. The anticipation is high. You're very much looking forward to the week ahead. So when you're making travel plans, plan at least a week of you being in the location where you're going to be getting married. A few days before and a few days after. At least a week gives enough time for you to land, get adjusted to the time zone or get over jet lag and ease into the week's events. There's a lot that goes on during a wedding week. You might have a welcome party 2 days before the event as guests are coming in from all over, and then the rehearsal dinner the night before the party itself, and then possibly a brunch or something after. That's 4 days right there. So if you're coming in a little bit before to get adjusted and staying a little bit after for that recovery period that's going to be so necessary, you want to plan on your calendar, make sure that you block off at least 7 days to be in the location where your destination wedding is going to take place. And bonus tip with destination weddings, you don't have to have a Saturday event. A lot of other countries actually celebrate weddings during the week. If you're planning a destination wedding celebration and you're asking your friends and family to come and travel with you anyway, they're going to be blocking off a considerable amount of time. And if you're going internationally, Saturday days are not the only days on the calendar that you would be able to celebrate, especially if you're planning a week of celebrations throughout the days that you're going to be there with your friends and family. You can really have a wedding on a Thursday or a Tuesday, and whatever is culturally specific to the area where you're going to be celebrating, that's something that you also want to keep in mind. It doesn't have to be Saturday like it is here in the US. If you're traveling to a United States destination, Friday and Sunday events are also also well within reach as far as the norm for American destination events. Think beyond the Saturday box as far as the date that you would actually be celebrating, especially considering the fact that your guests are going to be coming for multiple days in a row and you're going to get to enjoy them any day of the week. And if they're planning to make a vacation of it, well, then you have a little more flexibility on the day that you're going to celebrate. Some of my favorite weddings we've ever planned have been on non-Saturday days, and it allows the guests and you to really enjoy the rest of the week and the experience to the fullest. Number 6, this tip might seem a little surprising to you. For almost all of your destination weddings, whether they're in the United States or they're international, I would really strongly recommend that you sign any official paperwork to officially get married wherever you actually live and reside. That's not going to take away from the actual celebration and the solemnity of the ceremony that you're going to have when you get to your destination wedding. The legalities of the paperwork to go to another location, you might have waiting periods. There might be legality issues going abroad to other countries and signing international paperwork to prove that you're married that the United States might not recognize. So in order to just avoid all of this, get legally married where you live. It'll be a lot easier for you and your partner to walk in and do the official paperwork, sign with the judge, have a little party before the party, if you will. Maybe invite 1 or 2 people that are super close to you that also live where you are. And again, it can be any day of the week. It doesn't have to be a Saturday, but take care of these formalities before you go to your destination wedding. It's going to be so much easier and you won't have to worry about not officially being married. Get the formalities signed at home, wherever you live. It's going to save you on a lot of time and stress, and it's not going to take away anything from the day itself. Number 7, you've already booked your planner that is going to be really well skilled and versed in all of the complexities of destination weddings. That person is also going to be spearheading the project by booking vendors that are well versed in travel events and also really very familiar with the location where you're going to be celebrating. Something that I want you to think about, whether you're getting married internationally or domestically somewhere within the United States, there's a certain number of vendors that you don't even have to worry about how difficult it is for them to travel. In fact, they travel all the time. These people are going to be really great for you if you can find a good fit no matter where their location is. As long as they're able and willing to travel and available for your date, you can still have the flexibility of a vendor that you really want to bring them to the location where you choose to get married. And many also will travel internationally as well. These vendors are going to be your planner, obviously, your photographer, and your video team. It's essential that you get along with your photographer and your video team, and that is easier to find when you expand your net that you're casting. It's pretty easy for photographers and videographers to load their equipment up in a bag, jump on a plane, and travel to your location wherever that may be. There's an added bonus to bringing somebody in from outside the location, especially if they haven't ever shot there before. You might find a photo and video team that are really, really excited about your location because they've never been there before, and they're going to be shooting it with fresh eyes. They're going to have a brand new perspective on shooting in a space that they've never been before. That is going to really create a beautiful piece of art. This is your deliverable that you're going to take away for the rest of your life and have to look back on all of these memories. Having somebody that comes in with fresh eyes to capture not just the photojournalistic moments of you with your people, but also capturing the space and the environment of how the celebration really felt. That's going to be really valuable by having somebody that comes in with a fresh set of eyes. And many photographers and videographers are going to be ecstatic about going to a location that they've never been before. And that energy and excitement is something that you are really going to benefit from in the end product that you're going to have with you for the rest of your life. Other vendors that can travel really well are going to be your entertainment. If you're working with an entertainment group, you will often find that these agencies are really skilled at finding both a mix of local and travel event entertainment. Having a mix of destination entertainers that are really skilled at traveling all the time for gigs and jobs all over the country and most often around the world is super valuable to make sure that you're finding, again, a skilled set of entertainers that you can bring anywhere. It's really not that uncommon for entertainers to travel where they're going. So having their equipment and their crew and everybody that sets up and takes down, don't just think that you have to be limited to the entertainment that's available locally in the destination that you're looking at. You can expand the horizon a little bit. That helps give you a lot more options options to choose from, and then also incorporating a more local experience with entertainers that are really authentic and from the location to incorporate that into a well-rounded guest experience. Now, I highly recommend a destination wedding. I think they are amazing. I mean, the world really is your oyster here. Destination events are our cup of tea. We plan them all the time, and we really love the experience for our clients. There's nothing more special than a destination wedding. I love seeing my clients land and feel like they are celebrating their honeymoon the second that they walk off the plane. That's what really makes a destination wedding so special, not just for you, but for your guests as well. You are going to give your guests the experience of a lifetime. They're going to talk about your event forever. There's nothing more special than having you celebrate coming together with the love of your life, your best friend, in a magical environment. These people are not all going to be in the same room ever again. They're all there because of the two of you. What is more special than being able to celebrate in a location that has so much meaning to you, that is purely magical for everybody that's traveling from near and far to celebrate with you? I really think that we're going to see destination weddings become the norm rather than the exception. I say bring it on. This is going to be an exciting time for you planning your destination event. And if you have any other questions about destination weddings or the planning process in general, please leave them down in the comment section below. If you like what you've heard, please don't be shy and hit that like button, and also subscribe so that way you can see when we put out new videos and you won't miss a beat with all of the planning tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you every 4 days. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you around. Take care and enjoy the planning process.